You and your companions happen upon an old man trudging slowly down from the docks. He seems interesting and harmless, and you're bored. So you decide to invite him to your local pub. A warm and inviting hearth, a pint of porter provided by you, all for a tale of his adventures. He graciously accepts.
There was a ship. There was a ship. Our ship was cheered. The harbour cleared. Merrily we dropped down below the kirk, below the hill, below the lighthouse top. Oh, the sun came up upon our left. Out of the sea came he. Now, when he shone bright, and on the right went back down into the sea. Higher and higher over the mast every day, till right over the mast it stood. Where we were at, the band of the earth that split it, where the Southern Cross it stood. Oh, the breezes blew, and the white foam flew, and the furrows followed free. With songs and sweat, we rode the waves. We were the free men of the sea. Oh, at length, we crossed an albatross. Nay, from where it came, we knew. And as if it were a Christian soul, we called it what name we knew. And the mariners fed it biscuit worms. Oh, and the albatross did follow. And every day for food or play it would come to the mariner's hallow. And through clear and cloud on mast aloud it perched for vespers 9. And when the day is done, that sweet, sweet bird glimmered in the glowing moonshine. Aye, but you must know how things did go, and what became my cost. In a foolish show with my crossbow, I shot the albatross. Oh, listen, stranger. Wind and storm and tempest strong. It did strain the sails with wefting whales and blew us far along. And down dropped the breeze. And down dropped the sails. No movement would there be. We found us now, not knowing where, upon a silent sea. And day after day, day after day, we stuck. No breath, no motion. We were like a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Oh, I had done a hellish thing, and it would work 'em woe. They all averred I had killed the bird that made the breezes blow. Now all in a hot and copper sky, the bloody sun at noon right up above the mast it stood, no bigger than the moon. And water everywhere, but our deck boards did shrink. See, water everywhere, and they a drop to drink. And every tongue throughout the drought was withered at the root. We couldn't speak, no more than if we'd swallowed deep, dry soot. And some in dreams assured were the spirit that plagued us so from 9 fathoms deep, he'd come to lay our poor ship low. Oh, well a day. Oh, what evil looks had I from old and young. Aye, instead of Jesus' cross, about my neck the albatross was hung. And there passed a weary, blistering time, no God would hear us plea. Each throat was parched. Each glazed eye searched for some succor from the sea. And then I beheld something in the sky, no bigger than my fist, a speck. And then it seemed a mist. It moved and moved and became a shape, I wist. A speck, a mist, a shape, I wist. And still it neared and neared, and it dodged a water sprite, and tacked, and it veered, and with throat unslaked, with black lips baked, they could we laugh nor wail, and while through the dumb drought they stood, oh, I bit my arm, and I sucked my blood, and I yelled, "A sail! A sail! You see, I cried, she tacks no more, hither to work us weal." But without an wind, without an tide, she kept a right up keel. Aye, the western wave was all aflame, the day was nearly done, and almost upon the western wave rested the broad, bright sun. And when that strange ship drove suddenly betwixt us and the sun, but strangers, oh, the ship was old. Its sails were rags and rips, no helmsman on the quarter deck, no one to sail the ship. And her sides were rotting naked ribs, which flecked the sunlight through, and two strange shadows, all that's left of that unlucky crew. One, just all bones, all charred and black, all burnt and bare, I ween. It's just jet black and charred, save where, with rust of mouldy damps and charnel and crust, some purple and some green. But the woman, oh dread, her looks were free, her locks were yellow and gold, but her skin was white as leprosy. Oh, she turned the warm air cold. Her eyes were fixed upon my face. A frightening spectre she. And slowly she did raise her arm and pointed straight at me. A gust of wind came whistling down, and through the other's bones, out through its eye holes, out its mouth, half whistles, half groans. And then fluttered the sails amidst the wails. The ship skipped forward too with windless skies. Before mine eyes, the spectre ship was through. Oh, the sun was down. The waves were black. Darkness shrouded our ship. While up above the eastern bar, the horned moon, with one bright star kin between the tips, one after one, my men and crew, oh stranger, each turned their face to me, and as the moonlight turned them pale, Each cursed me with his eye. 4 times 50 living men, ne'er with a sigh or groan, with heavy thump, each lifeless lump dropped down, one by one. And their souls did from their bodies fly to bliss or fled to woe. But each one passed so close to me, like the bolt from my crossbow. The many men so full of life now dead before me lie, and a million slimy things lived on. And so did I. I looked upon the steaming sea and drew my eyes away and looked upon the eldritch deck where all my dead men lay. The cold sweats melted from their limbs, ne rots nor reek did they. But each one looked right straight at me, and that look will never pass away. A witch's curse can drag to hell a spirit from on high, but there is no damned curse that comes like from a dead man's eye. 7 days and 7 nights I saw that curse, and yet I would not die. Beyond the ship, its shadow, I watched the water snakes. They moved in tracks of shining white. And when they reared, the eldritch light in formal golden flakes. Within the shadow of the ship, I watched their rich attire, their blues, and glossy greens, and velvet black. They coiled and swarmed, and every track was lit with a flash of copper fire. Oh, happy living things. At whose tongue would their beauty might declare? A spring of love gushed from my heart, and I blessed them then and there. 'Tis true, a love for slimy beasts, but I blessed them everywhere. In that self-same moment, I loved those beasts from my neck, so free. The albatross did drop and sank like lead into the sea. A roaring wind, it roared far off, it did not come near, but with its sound it shook the sails that were so thin and sere, and the strong wind ne'er did reach the ship. Yet now the ship moved on beneath the starlight and the moon. Oh, the dead men gave a groan. They groaned and stirred and all uprose and moved their sunken eyes. Oh, it had been so strange, even in a dream, to see those dead men rise. And the helmsman steered, the ship moved on, and never a breeze up blew. The mariners began to work their ropes as they were wont to do. And use their limbs like lifeless tools. Oh, we were a ghastly crew. Oh, and the body of my brother's boy, he stood by me knee to knee. And his body and I pulled the self-same rope. But nay, he spoke to me. And then daylight dawned, and they dropped their arms upon the deck they lay, with sunken eyes, their mouths agape, the groaning wail they made. And then under the keel, 9 fathoms deep, I felt that cursed spirit rise and grab the ship which made a leap. And blackness took my eyes. Deep in this delirium I heard 2 voices, dark and low. "Is this the man?" quoth one. "Is this the man?" "This is the man, 'tis so. This, by him who died on the cross, with his cruel bow he laid full low the harmless albatross. The spirit who bideth by himself 9 fathoms down below. He loved that bird, who loved the man who shot him with his bow. The man hath in part his penance done, and will more penance do. He'll spend his time confessing all, walking the world through. I woke, and we were sailing on in a gentle weather. 'Twas night, calm night. The moon was high, and the dead men stood together. Swiftly flew the ship, yet we sailed softly too, sweetly blew the breeze. But on me alone it blew. And then, I see, is this the lighthouse top I see? The hill, the kirk? Am I now by my own sweet country? We drifted o'er the harbor bar, and smooth and clear as glass, and on the bay the moonlight lay, yet still feeling dread I was. I looked back at that eldritch deck where all my crew still lay. Oh Christ, what visions I saw there will live with me alway. Each corpse lay flat, their eyes on me. And by the holy rood, a man, all light, a seraphim, on each corpse, right there stood. This seraph band, each raised a hand. It was a heavenly sight, and they stood as signals to the land with their sweet, lovely light. And then I heard the dash of oars. I heard a pilot's cheer. My head was turned perforce away, and I saw a boat appear, and then vanished all those bright-lit sprites. And their bodies rose anew. With silent pace, each to his place came back my ghastly crew. And the pilot, with its pilot's boy, I heard them roaring near, my God in heaven. It did not stir. My crew still standing here. Dear Lord, that is a fiendish look, the pilot's boy did cry. I am afeard. Press on, the pilot roared. Press on, was his reply. The boat came closer to the ship, but I nae spake. And they stirred, the boat came close beneath the ship. And straight a sound was heard. Under the water it rumbled on, still louder and more dread. It reached the ship, it split the bay, and the ship went down like lead, stunned by that sound, that dreadful sound which sky and ocean smote. Like one that hath been drowned long days, my body lay afloat. But swift as dreams I found myself within that pilot's boat. And upon the whirl where we sank, the boat spun round and round, and then all was still, except the hill that echoed with that sound. I took the oars. The pilot's boy, who now doth crazy go, laughed loud and long, and to and fro. My God, quoth he, full now I see the devil knows how to row. And now in mine own country I stood on the firm land, and cursed I am to tell my tale, wherever I may stand. Since then, at an uncertain hour, some oft times, sometimes fewer, my anguish comes and makes me tell of my horrible aventure. And I pass like night from land to land. And I have a power of speech. The moment that I see a face, I know to that face my tale I must them teach. Oh, blessed guests, this soul hath been alone on a wide, wide sea, so lonely 'twas that God himself scarce seemed there to be. But farewell, farewell. But this I tell to thee, O thou sweetest guest, he liveth best who loveth best, both men and bird and beast. He loveth best who loveth best all things, both great and small. For the dear God who loveth us, he made us to loveth all.